Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. Mindshare recently completed 20 years in the business. Storyboard Editor Anant Rangaswami caught up with Prasanth Kumar, CEO South Asia Mindshare, about what has changed over the past 20 years of his business.
Okay, congratulations on 20 years.
Yeah, thank you.
So we won't talk about the 20 years, we'll talk about how your business has changed in these 20 years.
Great. So thank you first of all. It's been a great journey in the last 20 years. And in this context, I want to thank all the leaders who have actually got this great company where we are. And we are walking tall. So I want to thank Ashu. I want to thank Vikram, G-Man, who's Gautaman, and Ravi, who have been all the leaders of this organization and kept the going on. Talking about how the last 20 years of things have changed, etc. I think we all know that the last 20 years, every year on year, things have been evolving, and consumers have been evolving as well. And while we have continued to, do the best practices in the last 20 years, year on year, to understand the consumer better, I think the whole impetus and the whole efforts to understand the consumer better continues to be going on. And from our perspective, whether it is the last 20 years or now, it is about understanding this evolving consumer better, knowing them more intelligently both, which means understanding where the consumers are, what do they do, what are their tastes, how do we engage with them. I think these are primarily coming from our clients' requirements in able to solve business challenges for them.
Right. So if you had to break that down into 2-3 areas, what you were discussing with me earlier is consumer and the consumer journey, and then you said data, and then you said content.
Yeah.
So can you carry me through those 3 areas that
Great. So from a consumer perspective, understanding the consumer better is about really recognizing the entire ecosystem and trying to understand where and all the consumer is interacting, and therefore collect the data and understand the insights and get those insights to get into more decisive actions for clients. And also therefore, when you want to engage with them, come out with what are called the working content, which can help the clients and the brands to engage with consumer in a consistent manner and in a continuous form. I think from our organization, very clearly, these are some of the key points, and our bedrock rests on the talent pool, which is the third point, which is very critical for any organization to keep on being at the edge, right? Being the leader for the last so many years and continuing to be the leader. I think a sense of responsibility comes on to shape the entire industry as such. So talking about that, from a fundamental, the entire marriage comes in when you are able to do this in an intelligent way and also engage with them wonderfully well. And that is where we start building our products, our frameworks, train our talent, get new skills. And in all of it, when you look at from a client side, it's also important that they come in integrated. So the clients are able to talk, not some 100 people, but to talk to one-on-one and get the responsibility of the agency people to get everything on together. And this is something which we have been working on, and we are today in a great stage where we have got great partnerships, great products, great frameworks, and also a well integrated working way of working.
Right. One of the things you've done, one of the shall we say radical achievements, is the creation of Content Day, which you're running across.
That's right.
Another is your Loop Room, which you're again.
Right.
So let's talk about Content Day first and then Loop Room.
Great. So Content Day is one of the enablers we set out in terms of working for some of the brands' briefs, and which essentially is about some of the challenges brands are facing, and therefore working with different partner ecosystem and trying to get some of the best ideas and best solutions for the client, for any specific client. And when we started it 3 years back, it was a success, and not only in the scale of number of ideas, but also in the strength of ideas where this could be improvised and developed and run it for many of the brands or solutions. In the same way, when you look at from a loop room, which is a command center, we have today situation where we run it for clients within our offices, and we also have solutions where we run it in their own offices. Right. I think that's wonderful how that has evolved, and it has really helped in terms of getting real-time data, and therefore from information to decisions, we are able to get that the journey much faster and more real-time, and therefore more effective for brands.
Right.
While I say this, it's also important that the entire product co-creation have only expanded. While we have worked on enablers for Content Plus, which is on Content Day and different products, we also have developed multiple other products, which is actually facilitating in the area of understanding consumer and engaging with them more. And over the last, in 2-3 years, you would have seen that how we have launched some of the areas like Fast, some of the products like Kai, which is again co-created products. Some of the dashboards which are actually engaging with clients, which are getting more decisive from just information and much faster from that context. And what we are seeing is all of this are actually helping clients to act faster and act more precise, and therefore they are able to see some challenges getting resolved and able to see some success in some particular timeline, which makes it a good cause for us to invest back into our talent and produce some of the great co-created products and frameworks which will work good for brands.
One of the problems, not with Mindshare or Group M, but with the business as a whole, is pressure on margins. Yet in parallel, you have to invest in new skills, you have to invest in learning, for example, about content, a whole plethora of areas. So how do you manage this contradiction?
So to me, if you want to be successful, I strongly feel that the only way you can be successful is when you innovate and when you become inventive in solutions to clients and innovate in the ways of working. Right? And what I mean by that is the aspect of investing onto talent and looking at different products coming on. There is a cost coming on to the context, but at the same time we have right conversation with clients in looking at what are the newer aspects we bring onto the table, and there we are able to see more and more clients actually helping us, or rather seeing more value in that, and by derivative it helps us in terms of how we can do these value back into investing onto talent and creating new products. And over the last 3 years we have seen that actually doing quite well. There has been a shift in terms of more value coming out of there, which is only a derivative because they work for the clients, and we are seeing more and more repeat of those kind of products and those kind of solutions work for multiple clients.
In the last 1 year or maybe 1.5 years, there's been pressure on the relationship between traditional media owners and media agencies. Whether it is broadcaster or newspaper or whatever. Why is this happening, and what is Mindshare doing different in the context of, say, broadcasters and newspaper owners?
I think when you look at from a media agency standpoint, and let's understand this, I think media agency has been at the tail end in the beginning of how this journey started.
Right.
And probably 5 years back, we thought media agency is the center, but right now media agency is leading the conversation, and that's primarily because the partners are able to see value when you are able to come with different types of solutions. And it is not necessary that we continue to strengthen the conventional form of how the value can be derived for brands, because the consumer is not just looking at a 30-second ad or a half-page ad, but also engaged with conversation. Right, and they are able to do simultaneous media conversation also. Now, if you are able to see some asset created with the partner sees a lot more value.
Right.
And if that is actually helping a brand, the client sees a lot more value. And if you are able to bring that, and that is what I feel in the last 2 to 3 years we are able to do that differently. The Content Day is a classic example, right, where we got partners to come and meet with brands. Brand briefs and solving it for them, and the clients are able to see value there. So you are able to create something new beyond a traditional way of looking at it, and we believe in it strongly, and we feel a very strong force that media is the lead able to create more solutions, and whether in the area of insights, whether in the area of content, in understanding consumers better, and therefore solutions.
Right. Okay, now I'm going to ask you one last question as we run out of time. Your focus, you come to office tomorrow morning, what are the 3 areas that you're going to focus on, for most important areas for the next few years?
So my favorite subject is on talent,
right.
And transformation is something which is a continuous aspect. In 20 years of ours, we would have transformed probably 5 to 6 times, right? And the core is the talent, as I strongly feel, because they're probably the core product of ours, because they are the people who will actually do the best for brands and how we connect with clients in a day-to-day basis. So that's clearly my rank number 1.
Right.
So how to make them more intelligent, how to take risk in terms of newer skills, inject newer skills into the organization which will actually challenge the status quo. All of this is a package of that. I think I said about the intelligent way as well as personally engaging with consumers, and that can be broken into 2 forms. So how do you get intelligent is only when you understand consumers better, which
right.
is insight. So whatever we do is about understanding the consumers better, right? So whether it is from a TV data to a print data to a digital data, it's about understanding the consumers better and applying that back into all of this media, right? And that will actually help us to sharply target them. And when it comes to engaging, it's about looking at what are the newer things and how do we get some newer ideas, what are the newer verticals, what are the innovative ways of reaching them, and encouraging that aspect of getting newer ideas. These are 3 things for us, right? Clearly, so talent, more understanding of consumer from insights, as well as best of the engagement content which can help them to engage better with. And all of this, for me, is something which will actually solve a client's problem, and that's what is critical.
Perfect. Thank you so much, PK.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is time for us to take a short break. When we return, we have 2 TBCs on this week's notice board as Dalda becomes Naye Zamane ka Naya Dalda and Snickers is asking, who are you when you're hungry?